On May 26, 2012, a YouTube channel uploaded a video titled Mexicana Carmen Ríos García saca los ojos a su hijo durante ritual satánico, which translates to Mexican woman Carmen Ríos García takes out her son's eyes during a satanic ritual. The video featured disturbing news footage covering a real case that had occurred just days earlier in Nezahualcóyotl, commonly known as Neza, a densely populated municipality in the state of Mexico. Located on the eastern edge of Mexico City, according to authorities, Maria del Carmen Ríos García, along with several relatives, participated in an extreme religious ritual tied to apocalyptic, cult-like beliefs. The group reportedly believed that the end of the world was near. During the ceremony, Maria's 5-year-old son, Fernando, became the victim of a horrifying act. The group insisted that the boy close his eyes as part of the ritual. When he refused, Maria and her sister attacked him, ultimately causing injuries that left him permanently blind. Neighbors later reported hearing disturbing screams and chanting coming from the family's home. When police arrived at the scene, they found Maria holding her severely injured child. Fernando was rushed to the hospital where doctors were able to save his life, but not his eyesight.
11:35, un hecho escalofriante ocurrió en México. Una mujer le sacó los ojos a su hijo de 5 años durante un supuesto rito satánico.
De emergencia en helicóptero y luego a toda velocidad en ambulancia, fue trasladado este menor al que le habían arrancado los ojos. El pequeño de 5 años fue rescatado de un ritual satánico en donde participaban nada menos que sus propios familiares.
Una cuchara le extirparon ambos globos oculares. No presentaba el globo ocular del lado izquierdo, del lado derecho sí se encontraba, pero...
The case shocked the local community and later drew international attention due to the brutality of the crime and the involvement of multiple family members. The case shocked Mexico and drew international attention due to the brutality of the crime and the involvement of multiple family members acting under extreme religious beliefs. In the early 2000s, reports began surfacing in parts of South America about a strange and unsettling stuffed animal known as El Pero Oso, translated as the dog bear. Witnesses describe it as a hybrid-looking toy, combining the rounded body of a teddy bear with the elongated limbs and subtle facial structure of a dog. Its proportions appear slightly distorted. The fur often looks worn, even when the toy is newly acquired. But what stands out most are the eyes, large, glossy, and unusually reflective. The toy reportedly began appearing in flea markets and secondhand shops without clear branding or manufacturer information. Sellers claimed they didn't know where it came from. There were no tags, no labels, and no documented origin. Shortly after people brought the toy home, unusual incidents began to be reported. Owners consistently stated that the toy would not remain in the position it was left in. It would be placed facing a wall, only to be found angled toward a doorway. In some cases, the head appeared slightly tilted overnight. Several individuals described waking up with a strong sensation of being watched, only to find the toy facing directly toward their bed. In one early account, a family claimed their dog refused to enter the room where El Pero Oso was kept. The animal would growl, stare, and back away from the doorway. The behavior stopped only after the toy was removed from the house. Photographs of the toy added to the growing concern. Observers noticed that its eyes seemed to reflect shapes that were not present in the room at the time the picture was taken. In multiple images shared online, faint shadowy forms appeared within the glassy reflection. As awareness spread, video recordings began circulating. Some clips documented subtle positional changes between frames. In others, the toy's limbs appeared slightly repositioned. The movements were never dramatic, but they were consistent enough to alarm those documenting them. Attempts to trace the toy's origin have produced no clear answers. No manufacturer has claimed the design. No production records have surfaced. Despite this, identical or near-identical versions of El Pero Oso have been reported in different regions. Across locations and households, the experiences remain strikingly similar. Unexplained repositioning, a persistent feeling of observation, and the unsettling presence of its fixed, reflective eyes. Today, El Pero Oso continues to circulate among collectors and individuals who claim first-hand encounters. Images and recordings still appear periodically, reinforcing the same pattern described for years. Those who have kept the toy for extended periods often report the same conclusion. It does not feel inanimate, and no matter where it is placed, it eventually seems to be looking back. In the next video, a Colombian man named Jason Vera, known on TikTok as Vigilante Protector, was working as a security camera operator at a condominium complex when he noticed something unusual on one of the monitors. On the screen, he saw his co-worker standing in the hallway, appearing to have a conversation with someone. But there was one problem. No one else was visible. Curious and confused, Jason immediately called his co-worker and asked who he was speaking to. Without hesitation, the co-worker replied, "Mr. Orlando." Jason asked again to make sure he heard correctly, and the co-worker confirmed. He said he was speaking with Mr. Orlando, the property owner from house 125. That's when Jason told him something chilling. Mr. Orlando had passed away 20 days earlier.
¿Qué hizo? Era Lobizón, ¿con quién está hablando ahí? Sí, ¿con quién está hablando ahí luego usted?
Una propietaria de la casa 125.
Marica, la propietaria de la casa 125 falleció hace como unos 20 días, marica.
No, ¿cómo así? ¿Qué me está diciendo?
Sí, no, usted está hablando ahí solo, marica, lo estoy viendo aquí por la cámara, se está hablando ahí solo.
No, como mierda, loco.
For more than 90 years, a mannequin has stood in the window of a bridal shop in Chihuahua, Mexico, and many believe she isn't just a mannequin. Her name is La Pascualita. She first appeared in the display window of La popular bridal shop in March of 1930. Almost immediately, locals began whispering that something about her looked disturbingly real. Her hands were the first thing people noticed. The veins, the fingernails, the delicate wrinkles on the knuckles. They didn't look molded from wax or plastic. They looked human. Rumors quickly spread throughout Chihuahua that the mannequin was not a mannequin at all, but the preserved body of the shop owner's daughter, who had reportedly died tragically on the day of her wedding. According to the legend, the grieving mother had her daughter embalmed and placed in the store window, wearing a wedding gown. Over the decades, employees have claimed they felt uneasy being alone with her at night. Some say her eyes follow customers as they move through the shop. Others insist her posture changes slightly between displays. Locals claim that when the store closes and the lights go out, La Pascualita doesn't stay perfectly still. To this day, the bridal shop continues to dress her in elaborate gowns, carefully changing her clothing behind closed curtains. Employees have said they treat her gently, almost respectfully, as if she were alive. Despite decades of speculation, no official records have ever confirmed the story. But that hasn't stopped visitors from traveling across Mexico to see her in person. After more than 90 years in that same window, La Pascualita remains one of Mexico's most famous and unsettling urban legends. And if you stand in front of the glass long enough, you might feel like she's looking back at you.
Time for lunch, munch, munch. Time for a munch, crunch, crunch. Munch, munch, crunch, crunch. Munchy, munchy, crunchy, crunchy.
Most people remember El Chavo del Ocho as a cheerful childhood comedy. Bright colors, laughter, children playing in a small courtyard called La Vecindad. But some viewers began noticing something else, something that wasn't part of the script. It started with the background. In certain episodes, if you look past the main characters, past El Chavo and Kiko arguing, your eyes drift upward, to the balconies, to the dark windows, to the corners of the courtyard, where no one is supposed to be standing. And that's when you see it. A figure, still, watching, not moving like a crew member, not reacting like an extra, just there. Some fans claim that in multiple episodes, shadowy shapes appear behind railings. Faces peek from windows that are supposed to be empty. Dark silhouettes stand in doorways long after the scene has shifted. When the footage is slowed down, the shapes don't always disappear. They remain, as if they were always part of the vecindad, waiting. Then there are the stories from the set itself, whispers that while filming, some cast members felt uneasy, as if someone was observing them from behind the cameras, a presence just outside the lights. There are rumors that during certain scenes, actors felt sudden cold spots, even though the studio was warm. A strange sensation, like a light brush across the back. as if someone had passed behind them, but when they turned around, no one was there. The courtyard set was designed to feel enclosed, tall walls, narrow balconies, hidden corners, a place where echoes linger, and sometimes during quiet moments between takes, the space felt heavier than it should have, like it wasn't empty. Some viewers now rewatch old episodes differently. They don't focus on the jokes. They scan the shadows. They count the figures on the balconies. They watch the windows, because once you notice something in the background, you can't unsee it. A show about childhood laughter, a courtyard full of life, and behind it all, silent shapes that were never introduced, never credited, never explained. Next time you watch El Chavo del Ocho, don't just watch the main characters. Look behind them, into the dark. You might realize the vecindad was never as empty as it seemed.
¿Quién eres? Aquí por la casita rosa, güey. Aquí por la casita rosa, güey. ¡A la madre, güey! ¡No mames, güey!
They say he appears on lonely roads at night, in Hidalgo, on the outskirts of Mexico City, and even in the historic neighborhood of Coyoacan. As dusk settles and the streets grow quiet, a dark figure emerges riding an imposing black horse whose red eyes burn like fire, steam rising from its flared nostrils. He is dressed entirely in black, wearing an elegant charro suit adorned with silver embroidery that glints faintly under the moonlight. A wide-brimmed sombrero casts a deep shadow over his face, hiding his features and making his presence all the more unsettling. At first, there is nothing threatening about him. He approaches those who walk alone after dark with perfect manners, polite, charming, even generous. His voice is calm, his posture refined. From his small leather pouch at his waist, he offers gold coins that gleam temptingly in the night. Sometimes he promises wealth, other times protection, or simply a ride home on his powerful horse. But the true horror reveals itself the moment someone accepts. His smile slowly fades. His eyes ignite like burning embers. His once smooth voice deepens into something inhuman. The air grows heavy, thick with the scent of sulfur. The coins no longer feel like a gift, but a chain. For in most versions of the legend, accepting his offer binds the victim to a terrible pact. The gold is only the price of a soul. They say he's not merely a wandering charro. He is the devil himself in disguise, and anyone who climbs onto his horse is never seen again. In Mexico, a party store owner named Mario Lara reportedly experienced something that would change his life and terrify his entire community. Mario had recently opened a small piñata and party supply shop. During the day, it was bright and cheerful, filled with handcrafted piñatas hanging from the ceiling, colorful stars, animals, cartoon characters, and traditional designs swaying gently above customers, picking out decorations for birthdays and celebrations. Business was normal. Nothing seemed unusual. But at night, something began to happen. According to Mario, it started subtly. Each morning, items were slightly out of place. Balloons drifted into corners where he hadn't left them. One particular large piñata, positioned in the center of the shop, always appeared slightly rotated as if someone had touched it after closing. At first, he blamed airflow. Then he checked the security cameras. What the footage reportedly showed was disturbing. Late at night, long after the doors were locked and the lights were off, the large piñata began to move on its own. It didn't sway naturally like something pushed by a draft. Instead, it shifted in short, deliberate motions. At one point, its head appeared to turn slightly toward the camera, as if it knew it was being watched. Mario reviewed the footage over and over. There were no signs of forced entry, no draft strong enough to explain the movement, no tampering with the cameras. Then things escalated. While closing the shop one evening, Mario said he heard faint knocking sounds, soft, hollow taps, like something hitting the inside of papier-mâché. Customers later claimed they felt uneasy near that specific piñata. Some insisted its eyes looked different every time they visited. Darker, more focused. Mario reportedly tried removing it from the display. He placed it in storage and locked the door. The next morning, it was back in the center of the shop. After that, Mario claimed he began smelling sulfur late at night. The security footage allegedly captured sharper movements, quicker jerks, unnatural shifts, and in one clip, what appeared to be the piñata's head tilting upward without any visible cause. Word spread quickly. Locals began avoiding the store after sunset. Delivery drivers refused to make nighttime drop-offs. Some believed the piñata was inhabited by something dark, a spirit attached to the object, awakened by the constant energy of celebrations, and now trapped within its hollow frame. As the mystery grew, Mario began sharing the eerie footage on his YouTube channel, Mario Lara. The channel quickly gained attention, eventually growing to over 37,000 subscribers. His most popular video shows the camera repeatedly going in and out of focus, and what viewers believe is a shadowy figure, possibly a ghost or even a demon, peeking out from behind the hanging piñatas. The footage sparked debate online. Some viewers were convinced it was real. In an attempt to stop the activity, Mario tried cleansing the piñata and eventually abandoned it in the countryside, but nothing worked. Others accused Mario of staging everything to attract attention to his shop. Then, just as suddenly as it began, Mario went silent. He made all of his other social media accounts private and stopped addressing the alleged paranormal activity entirely. No updates, no explanations, no final statement. To this day, no clear scientific explanation has been publicly provided for what was recorded. In Argentina and Paraguay, one of the most enduring legends is the story of the Lobizón, a South American version of the werewolf. According to tradition, the seventh son born in a row, with no daughters in between, is cursed. By day, he lives as an ordinary person, but on Tuesday and Friday nights, especially during a full moon, he is said to transform. Unlike the powerful werewolves of European folklore, the Lobizón is described as thin, mangy, and miserable. It roams the countryside, scavenging in the dark. The transformation is believed to be painful, and by sunrise, the individual returns to human form, exhausted and ashamed. The legend blends European werewolf myths with indigenous Guarani beliefs, and its influence was so strong that in Argentina, a real tradition began. The president serves as godfather to every seventh son, symbolically breaking the curse. The Lobizón isn't just a monster story, it's a legend powerful enough to shape history. Selena Quintanilla was born on April 16, 1971, in Freeport, Texas. She would grow up to become one of the most influential Latin artists of all time, a groundbreaking Mexican-American singer, songwriter, and fashion icon known as the Queen of Tejano music. In the early 1990s, Selena rose to fame with hits like Como la Flor and Bidi Bidi Bom Bom, seamlessly blending Latin rhythms with the mainstream pop. Her charisma, voice, and style made her a cultural phenomenon. But in 1991, during a concert in San Antonio, Texas, a woman named Yolanda Saldivar developed what many would later describe as an unhealthy obsession with the young star. Yolanda, a former registered nurse, began contacting Selena's father, Abraham Quintanilla, with a proposal to start an official Selena fan club. Once granted permission, the fan club quickly grew to more than 1,500 members. Over time, Yolanda gained the family's trust. She formed a close bond with Selena and was eventually hired to manage Selena's clothing boutiques. However, complaints soon began to surface. Fan club members and boutique employees accused Yolanda of abusive behavior and financial misconduct. After launching an investigation, Abraham discovered that approximately $30,000, nearly $60,000 in today's money, had been embezzled. On March 9, 1995, Selena and her father confronted Yolanda about the missing funds. According to Abraham, Selena was emotional during the confrontation, while Yolanda denied all accusations. Abraham warned her that police would be contacted if the money was not returned. 2 days later, Yolanda purchased a gun. Although she briefly returned it, Selena chose to give her another chance. She even discussed expanding her business into Mexico with Yolanda's help. Despite Selena's forgiveness, Abraham remained deeply suspicious. At one point, he had Yolanda removed from one of Selena's studio sessions. Investigators later suggested this may have contributed to the escalating tension. On March 30th, 1995, Yolanda checked into a Days Inn motel in Corpus Christi. That night, Selena visited her to retrieve important financial documents. Later, Yolanda called Selena claiming she had been assaulted in Mexico. Skeptical but concerned, Selena drove alone the next morning to pick her up and took her to a hospital. Doctors found no evidence of assault, and Selena reportedly told staff she believed Yolanda was lying. After returning to the motel, the two women had a heated argument. During the confrontation, Selena officially ended their professional relationship and fired Yolanda from both the fan club and her boutiques. Moments later, the situation turned deadly. Yolanda pulled out a revolver and shot Selena in the shoulder. Despite the injury, Selena managed to run toward the motel lobby. Witnesses saw Yolanda chasing her with the gun. Before collapsing, Selena identified her attacker as Yolanda Saldivar and provided the room number, 158. Selena was rushed to the hospital, but tragically died at just 23 years old after the bullet severed a major artery. Yolanda Saldivar engaged in a nearly 10-hour standoff with police before finally surrendering. She was later convicted of murder and sentenced to life in prison, with the possibility of parole after 30 years. What began as admiration turned into obsession, and ultimately, one of the most shocking tragedies in music history.
What is your location? Days Inn Motel. It's 901 Navigation Boulevard. What's wrong, ma'am? We have a woman ran in the lobby, said she's been shot. She's laying on the floor in his blood. Okay. Where are you? How old is she? She looks about 20. Okay, who shot her? Where is it? She's in the lobby right now? Yes, ma'am. She just passed out. Okay. I already have to call in. I think you need to send a police unit, too. It'll go off for me. Okay. Somebody give us some information so we can get the suspect. Okay. You don't know anything else about who might have done it or anything like that? It's another lady. That's all I know. We're trying to find out. Okay. And this lady's about 40 years old? 20. Okay. Yolanda? She's a suspect? Oh, okay, ma'am. What's her last name? Thank you. 911 emergency. We need a police officer. Someone's been shot over here at Navigation, Days Inn. At Days Inn? Yes. Okay, what room number? Huh? What room number? She's out here on the parking lot, 158. Okay, who shot her? The lady in 158 shot the lady over here. Okay, is the lady in 158 still there? I don't know. They shot somebody. She's taking off. She's with a vehicle on foot? She's in a vehicle on foot. They don't know. Well, we need to somebody can give us some information so we can get the suspect. I've already got the ambulance and the police over there. They're en route. I need a car. I need a race car. What does she look like? Her name? Yes. Yolanda. Yolanda? Uh-huh. She's a suspect? Yes, ma'am. What's her last name? S-A-L-D-I-V-I-A. S-A-L-D. She's with Selena Incorporated, the lady from the singer. Okay, but where did she go? Do you know if she ran out? Which way she ran and what is she wearing? Yeah, we've already got the police and the ambulance en route over there, but if somebody can give me some information, we can catch her. She can't tell me nothing. The lady that shot's laying here on the floor. Okay, where did she get shot at? What part of her body? Part of the body that she... That's Lisa on the phone. Yeah. What part of the body did she get shot at? In her back. In the back. Okay, if y'all come across any information,